Now, you might be wondering, Snek, you've been kind of like moving around this place for a while, nothing's happening. Well, yes, that's because anything that looks like an obvious exit obviously isn't the direction we need to go. That is the nature of the funhouse.
Yeah, I suppose if the game is going to screw with you, the area, and an area that deliberately is intended to screw with you has to screw with you twice as much, if not more.
That's right.
So what would your character do if we were to make a hypothetical Tomodachi Quest RPG Maker game?
I mean, I've always been the designated healer, so I imagine I would be the heal support character. You know, I'd probably have like one decent attack, and then the rest of them would be like buffs and support. My revival spell would just be called I Told You So, and it's just me shaking my head until I shame them back to life.
Jeez.
Reaper's out for blood.
As opposed to Susan, who just has, you know, like a nighty night or something like that, where she puts you to bed and with a glass of warm milk. Because she's the nice one.
So she heals you nicely. I heal you, but I'm going to shame you in the process. Oh, look who's dead again. Spoiler alert, it's you. I'm like that guy on 14 who has the really passive-aggressive macros.
I would never do that.
I would never bother. Alright, we got Crying Child.
Nice. Yeah.
Literally a representation of the children who were brutally killed in this series. Unfortunately, his power set is actually not that useful apart from having gift boxes. Power Song and Armor Song are good, but, I mean, if I really needed those buffs at this point, I would literally just slot in the power and defense chips, and they're the same thing.
Well, gosh, it's me there, Snek.
And one of the most annoyingly aggressive enemies in FNAF 2. And that's the only thing that makes him dangerous, is that he goes for it all the time. And he's like, yeah, I'm in the vents. What you gonna do about it? And I'm like, I'm gonna put on this mask, and then you're going to leave.
Hey, guess what? Did you know? Hey, look. You know, it's a reference to Alice in Wonderland. It's a reference to Alice in Wonderland. Isn't it trippy? Whoa. Alice in Wonderland.
That's a thing that exists.
Isn't it trippy? Whoa. And, you know, the funny thing is the vast majority of the people have never actually read the book.
Nope.
The books.
They watched the Disney film.
Which is unfortunate because, yeah, or they listen to the Jefferson Airplane song. Which is unfortunate, as I say, because they're really, really weird, and they always just fixate on, like, the caterpillar or, like, the white rabbit, and that's it. They never bring up the griffin or the mock turtle, which I suppose is just as well, because it's actually really, really British in terms of what it's supposed to be symbolizing, as I understand it. But yeah, it's always like the same three things, and you know, the Queen of Hearts.
Because that's what the Disney film did, Itaku.
Yes, I know. Like, I'm gonna be perfectly real with you. On a certain level, I'm really not looking forward to Stone Ocean, just because I'm afraid that what the normies are gonna say about, like, inevitably it's going to just be memes about, like, her 71 sinners, her, and it's like, do you believe in gravity? It's like, bitch, there's more to JoJo than just, you know, memeing, okay?
You know, they're not even gonna, like, do the funny ones with, like, the MS Paint comic about, no, you said rhinoceros beetle already. Shut up, stupid baby!
Gotcha!
That's funny memeing right there.
Yeah. Remember when the president punched a priest because he said rhinoceros beetle already? See, I always thought that was kind of weird that like there's rhinoceros beetle time.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 of the words. It's like, okay, that's a little...
3 times. Yeah, because if you actually listen to him, I believe that's his ultimate skill in All-Star Battle.
Yeah, it is.
If you actually do the input, let him do all 11 words, and he'll become Made in Heaven, at which point he basically wins, because he's just way, way better than everyone else, way faster.
Yep.
But, I suppose, you know, that's by design.
That's because it has, like, one of the most elaborate setups of any special in the game.
Yeah, it's like, I think even Perfect Cars is not as good as Made in Heaven Poochie. Nope. Yeah, so Unscrew doesn't work, but the
Mimic Ball, you know, mimicking Unscrew works.
Yeah. It's the idiot ball. It's
Hence-
so stupid.
Hence the power of the idiot ball.
It's so stupid that it kills them.
Alright, we got the Phantom Puppet now. Now, as said, we've actually had pretty terrible luck getting new friends in this run. So we're going to take some time out here to just level up a little bit, get some more friends, because between here and the Glitch World, you should be able to pick up pretty much every other character that's recruited in this fashion. And the fact that we have so few, even now, is still kind of surprising.
No, enough of that. Get out of here. Nope. Nope. Oh, yeah, once again, the mimicking is what kills him.
Yep. It's basically, you know, hey, my first death spell didn't work. Here, let me just immediately cast another one and see if I have better luck with that. Dang. That's harsh.
Shows up, immediately gets unscrewed.
Let's have a look at some of our new friends. Oh, she actually does maintain Cupcake. Might actually be worth it to take her along. I think I'm going to give up Shadow Freddy. His uselessness against bosses is going to become a liability if I let it. Team 2. Oh, that's nice and terrifying. That definitely won't cause kids night terrors and bedwetting.
Let me touch your skin. She needed to be weirder.
Yep, that's the one I was talking about earlier, where it will randomly, each time that jump screen, that load screen pops up, it will decide randomly to say he or she.
The robot
Because
cares.
it's a yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a robot. It doesn't even have, you know, junk or of any variety to begin with.
There's a lot of people on the internet that want you to be wrong about that.
It's even if it did, this is gonna be okay. This is gonna be my hot take. Even if it did, it's supposed to be. These are canonically Iron Maiden monsters.
Yep.
Like animated by the ghosts of dead children.
Yep.
Why would you want to fornicate with it anyway? it would be full of spikes and stuff.
And if, you know, if what we're told is true, they're pretty much stuffed to the gills with support beams and crossbars and other metal unpleasantry.
Yes, so... I mean, you know, I've been on the internet for a long time. You're not going to shock me with basically anything. But, I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
We are numb to your degeneracy.
Yes. Come on, guys. I mean, if you wanna be, you know, if you want to be a Coomer, fine. Just, you know, be realistic. Or not, you know, whatever.
I mean, I'm all down for spoofing horror in weird and eclectic ways. It's just... not the canon versions. There's literally, like, dead bodies in there.
Yeah. That's a line you really shouldn't cross.
That's just a multi-layered... that's a multi-layered cake of no, 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 and no.
It's an upside down cake.
Then it's on. See what I did there?
Yes, I did. And oh, that's actually kind of worse, because you're like, oh, then it's on. It's like, no, that means yes, no.
That literally got turned around on you.
Yeah, it did.
Now, there are some very particular characters I'm holding out for. And, fun fact, there's actually a bonus boss here. And if you want to know a really weird thing about the human brain and the way that it associates memories, I was in this dungeon, this particular leg of the game, for the first time when Ditaku called me on the phone. And it was when we were first discussing about him moving down here. And I let the game idle. And I was attacked by a secret boss because of it. And so I'm like trying to maintain my composure and my side of the conversation when this freaking boss just attacks me out of nowhere. Because in this one area and nowhere else in the game, there is always a random chance of a particular enemy boss encounter attacking you. It's actually considered kind of an Easter egg because the conditions under which the boss attacks are exclusively random.
Oh, it's kind of like Warmack then.
Yeah.
You know, we could never get him to show up in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we both tried. Like, we stomped around that space station, like, a long time each, and neither of us could get him to show.
I specifically, because when we went to the space station for the first time, I went there, and I went up and down like an hour. And then you tried, I don't know how long you did it, but after
at least an hour
we were
or two.
About to do Chaos, I went back to the space station. I'm like, all right, you know, we are well above the threshold necessary to kill this guy. We need to show him off.
Yep.
And like for an hour, I was just going up and down. I'm like, no. At that point, I'm like, you know what? He's scared of us. I need to finish this.
He knows better at this point. He's like, nope, I'm not coming out. You guys can't make me.
That's unfortunate. He was the only boss we didn't kill in that game.
Yep. That was a really good run, though. That was really good stuff.
Do we know if the remastered version of 1 that's on Steam, it has the Dawn of Souls dungeons on it?
I don't know. I will have to do some research on that. If anyone in the comments, like, knows, let us know. I'd be curious to hear that.
Yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy 1.
The Final Fantasy 1 remasters that they just released, like, do they have the bonus content from the Dawn of Souls port on the Game Boy Advance?
Or Dawn of Souls still the best port?
It really is. Because, I don't know, the Game Boy Advance was just kind of a charmed handheld, like, it just had so much good stuff on it. This thing has a lot of health. We've been wailing on this thing for a while.
So, is there going to be another Mangle copy paste, which is just got keys on it, which is going to be called Jangle.
That's a good idea. Actually, the next version of Mangle we're going to meet is Funtime Foxy, the complete form, where it's not a victim of little children. Ah, Indo01. With his big doofy grin.
Johnny 5! He's alive! He looks like Johnny 5.
He kind of does. He has that going on, except that he has feet rather than wheels.
That's true.
And, yeah, that's a...
Movies were pretty good, I'm just gonna say.
We're kind of showing our age this video, aren't we? Yeah. A lot of the stuff we're talking about is pop culture. That's definitely geared towards our generation.
I was about to say, you know what? If they can't parse, you know, more or less how old we are, from the fact that we're like, what's a good? What's that? Disney's gummy bears. You're like, oh my god, that's such a specific...
Darkwing Duck.
It's such a specific reference. Then you know what? It's fine. We'll just...
Oof.
Wow.
Reaper Bit's not even joking around. He's like, no, be gone. Oh yeah, there is one phenomenon that's going to run counter to our best efforts. The more characters you have, the lower their encounter rate. This generally means you have to work a little bit harder to get the later characters versus the earliest ones. Now, it's not to the point where this ever gets obscene. I don't think it ever gets to, like, stupid things like sub 1% values, but we will have to work at it a little.
Hey guys, it's just like getting the sword of pain.
Here comes a new challenger! Alright, Fredbear proper. As I recall, he's quite powerful.
Yeah, and I remember he was on the list of meta characters.
I recall, I don't know if it's still in the game or not, but there was a time where his Megabyte attack was bugged in that it would kill the final boss of the game in one hit. Also, I wanted to get him for a different reason, as you can do a little Easter egg thing with him in a little bit.
Alright.
Because you have to have him before the story is over, because otherwise you won't get the chance, but... it gives you a little trophy on the start screen. Alright, so now we have Fredbear, which we should probably want to take him straight away. He's pretty good. Yeah, Region Song, Mimic Ball, Megabyte. Kind of already... If there was a stronger version of Region Song, I'd be a little more excited about that, because, like, original Chica had Region Song. I'll hold off until it becomes relevant. Like, his only really good attribute's Megabyte, and unless we're gonna... Like, who would we even give up to make room for more damage? Withered Chica, maybe?
Yes.
You know what? Okay, let's do it. Let's have,
True Unga Bunga.
the truest form of Unga. Indo Army.
Embrace Unga, reject Bunga.
We'll let this creepy guy lead the team.
Hey guys, how's it going? I heard that
Kids
you
can be
had...
so cruel.
I heard you got skin.
Like to touch it.
I'm uncomfortable. That's a normal feeling to me. What, you being uncomfortable? No. People being uncomfortable around me. Oh.
See, Megabyte is incredibly strong on its own for a single hit attack.
Oh, it is 1,000 bites.
Fredbear is no slouch, and I see what you did there. I feel like I'm back in Battle Network with all these, you know, bite puns.
Just a bit.
Wah, 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 wah.
I'll be here all week, folks.
Lol, escape key. Using that on us literally doesn't do anything anymore. Don't even feel the compulsive need to keep gift boxes on at all times, just because we're so far beyond that now. Now, Fredbear is kind of an interesting animatronic in canon. Because he was what's called a spring lock animatronic. Now, the idea behind them were that they were normal animatronics who could walk around and do their routine. But there's also a crank inside of the suit, and you could literally move the internals to the side to allow a human actor to get into the suit. Now, that's the upside. The downside was the spring locks are apparently really awful. Because they mentioned the things that can cause them to fail include breathing, motion, human sweat. Like just about anything that an actor inside a suit will do will cause a spring lock to fail.
And I assume failure of the suit causes the death of the person inside.
Yes. When a spring lock suit would fail, that would cause all of the things held under very, very, very high tension to spring back into their original position, including things like support beams and crossbars and other things you don't want piercing your major vital organs. There were only 2 of these suits to our knowledge, and they were Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. And that is where we get Springtrap. Because William Afton, the serial murderer, had put on the yellow bunny suit and attempted to escape the ghosts of the children who came back for their vengeance against him. He panicked and accidentally set off the spring locks, and he was executed by his own creation.
The irony.
New challenger. Oh, Nightmare Fredbear.
Hello, friend.
You see, the most terrible way to die in this universe is to inadvertently ask Nightmare Fredbear to scratch your back for you.
He looks like he'd have you covered.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
So what does the Freddies actually do?
What those do is they just attack, and as they're passing by, they'll be set at certain heights. And if they cross over the hitbox, they will cause damage.
Okay.
They're smaller than the pizzas, but they also are a bit stronger. Yeah, he can do Freddles as well. Megabyte, Toxic Bite too. Yeah, he's a pretty much all-out offense.
You know, I was about to say, it kind of reminded me of the Poppers, and just its constant.
Oh yeah, no, they're very similar. But I have an idea. We're gonna do Fredbear, Nightmare Bonbon, and the puppet. So that way, for maximum terror value. And the second party will be Phantom Marionette. My computer acting up. That was a little strange. I bet it's that stupid updater thing. I hate that so much. You kind of need a guidebook to keep up with the lore nowadays, especially from Sister Location going forward, where things got especially complicated. And then you raise the big question mark of, hey, are the novels canon? General consensus is no, they're an alternate universe, but like some information gleaned from them was useful. In fact, we didn't know the killer's name until the first novel, The Silver Eyes, dropped. That's when we learned his name was William Afton. And then...
What's the, speaking of which, what's the word on the movie?
Every time I hear an update about it, it gets worse. Like, I'm not sure. To give you some ideas, that really goofy Nick Cage movie, Willy's Wonderland, was a rejected FNAF script that Scott turned down. I actually recommend the movie because it is black comedy gold. It is just an amazing movie because of how silly the whole thing is. You want to see Nick Cage beating the snot out of animatronic characters? Well, look no further. That said...
This sounds really entertaining.
It is! It's great! Like, it's just this really goofy movie that has no pretensions whatsoever. It's just like, this is a silly film. And I'm like, yes it is. But that's what I wanted. So... and basically, I think they just lost their director, and Scott said something about they're changing to a script that he didn't approve of, and now that he's more hands-off on the franchise, he has a bit less say on the matter. It's really in limbo, and a lot of fans are afraid that it's probably fated for development hell, which is a shame. Oh yeah, that's the thing about Megabyte. The bite animation, if you're caught in it, will hurt you even if you're not the target. So that's cool. So we don't really know what the deal with the movie is. It's not looking good right now, but hey, things could still turn around. I remember, like, I saw a lot of video essays, like, right after we reviewed the Monster Hunter movie, there were all these people just like, oh, this is so bad, and I hate it, and I'm like, it was not that bad. I don't get why you guys are getting so bent out of shape. Like, what were you expecting?
They were expecting something like Lord of the Rings, when, you know, I'm gonna be perfectly real here, unless you go deep into Monhun, you're not going to get the level of lore building necessary
in order to make a really cogent film.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, what does the average person know about Monhun? Okay, I'm gonna answer it right now. The average person does not. And even if they did, to be like, oh, it's like sword fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, they're not entirely wrong with that assessment. That is pretty much.
It's like, yeah, they're not right, but they're not wrong either, kind of thing.
And I'm just gonna say it right now, because I have friends who are deep into Monhun. It's like, look, it's a very niche genre. It's a very niche franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's really fun, but I mean, guys, come on, get over yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing, even with my deep love of Monster Hunter, even I'm like, the hunting genre, in that respect, is already pretty niche and obscure. And it really didn't, like, pick up. Like, it picked up a little bit with Monhun 4, but then, like, it didn't really blow up into, like, mainstream nerddom until World. And that's why I'm still I'm a little hesitant to pull the trigger on Rise. I'm just like, yes, but I could be playing Tokiden 2, which is fundamentally the same idea as what you're going for here. Some of the monsters look really cool, and I like that, like, Misuzune and stuff are coming back.
Yeah, I'm not super huge into the fact that they had a really cool movement system in Generations, and they just were like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. It's like, it felt so good to move around.
The styles were half the fun. It's like you had, instead of, okay, we're just going to give you a new weapon, which you may or may not like, we're going to give you 4 different ways to use the weapon you already like.
Yeah. And not only were they really fun, but like, aerial style was so good.
It was awesome.
I mean, the fact that we were like, okay, can we backflip off of X? And we were like doing experiments. For instance, we were like, Rathalos Fireball, can we backflip off it? Yes.
If you time it
you
right.
Can.
Yes.
It actually has a hitbox. Yes.
So if you time it right, you can. You have to be careful, but it can work.
Yeah, we got world. They're like, no, we're trying to be more realistic. I'm like, I hate to break it to you there, Monhun, but...
Like, I get what you're doing, and I like the quality of life improvements, but
yeah, it's like,
let me backflip off my dinosaurs.
The 30-kilometer long continental-sized snake is not realistic, and I just hate to break it to you.
You could have an oxygen content of 100% in the atmosphere, and it still wouldn't support things that huge. Watch, there's gonna be some smart aleck chemistry major in the comments, and he's like, actually, data Madura could work under these circumstances, and I'm gonna be like, nerd. Then they would be like, you called me a nerd, and I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, because there is a hierarchy in nerd. you're lower than we are.
If I swap while the party is stunned... Oh yeah, that does work. Neat.